What's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again, coming at you with another Summoners War video. And in today's video, we're going to be bringing you guys the finals of the 2023 SWC Euro Cups. So again, fam, as always, thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. And if you want to see more videos like this down the road, you all know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, hit the notification bell so you guys know when the next video drops here. Without further ado, it's my pleasure to bring you guys the 2023 SWC finals match, Lufia versus Pinkroid. We're out.
You're joining us in those first-class seats. As we get to the finals, we see the pre-bans, Han, Tian Lang. Straight away, Pinkroid, wow, very fast here. Vanessa, we already have the Maw, we already have the Cigar, we have the Etna. Very classic picks, I would say.
Yeah, definitely very classic picks, and that's also where you see them being picked up very fast. Pinkroid actually kind of taking away a unit, a little bit taking his time, and then still locking in the same unit. Also that Han is banned right now, so the Bella is open for Lufia. Also that Ongyuki is open for Lufia. But is that the moment that you want to draft them right now as well? Or do you feel like you have to counter other things right now? Because Pinkroid definitely has a different kind of playstyle than the two previous players that you played.
Exactly, he is looking at that Bella. It is a unit that we know does so much damage. Pinkroid will know it does so much damage, but with the Haegong on the field, any strips and pushbacks might allow his team to take a turn. We have Rakuni from Lufia.
Yeah, we have the Rakuni from Lufia, and we have a Chitian, the Shunk, being picked up with that CP. Is he going to lock that in? I would definitely say that is a strong lock-in right there. However, it could also be something that if you ban that Light Monkey right there, going into Slide Pass over here, but I would definitely see in that 5th slot, if you are planning to ban that Light Monkey, you could add in a triple Revenge Third. Funny enough, we haven't seen a single triple Revenge Third all day, right?
Nope, I don't believe so. I don't even think we've seen Verd, no?
No, not at all.
Any Verd.
Yeah, that's also the thing. Like, you sometimes see it as a Pacer unit also just on Swift or anything like that, but just no Verds.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
a single one. But is that because that many Haegangs? No, we didn't see that many Haegangs. Is it good against the car? It's definitely good against the car. So is that maybe the thing that people over here should be picking up to counter those cigars as well?
I think it's like we were saying with consistency at the start of the stream, though. You want a unit that's consistent, it does the things that you know it's going to do. A triple Revenge Revert, when it works, perfect. When it doesn't work, you don't want to touch that thing ever again, especially if you're on that stage, right?
That is definitely true, but however, there's certain drafts, same as that Antares draft from Pinkroid before, that it's not just about like, okay, if it doesn't work in the first turn, I'm gonna lose. If it can work in the second, third, fourth, like if there's enough AoEs going in there, with that Ethna, S2, the Shatter, AoE every time. Verd is gonna have multiple chances to actually say like, okay, now I'm going, now I'm going, now I'm going. And that is the right play you want to pick it in. And that's why I would say in this 5th pick, he would be fitting.
Okay, all right. I mean, you heard it right there. I mean, that's the most interesting thing about this entire competition ever since we started this thing, is seeing the variety. It's you know, you've got a way you talked about, you know, liver earlier on, always turn to. There's a certain play style. Having to adapt to every opponent you come up against is such a massive part of the battle, isn't it? You know, we talk about experience, but having to on the fly make things up, change strategies, pick new things. And obviously, the pick and bans are a big thing. There are so many things to wrap your head around to kind of make it to where these two players are right now. That it's testament to just the quality, the level that they're at in this region, making it all the way to the Euro Cup final.
Exactly. I do want to add as well, I mean, we have said it numerous amount of times, the meta is very wide, there's a lot of different things, but in all honesty, there's a lot of underlying of this meta where there are still the same types of units that are being used, just in different types of ways. So for example, you might not have specifically this unit. Okay, you can use a different unit with another unit to make the same combination of what something else could provide. So using like all of the monsters that they have available, and kind of working out what your opponent is going to pick or maybe rune really well so you can either steal it or you can play around it, is something which is why these guys are here and the rest of us are climbing on ladder and not doing as well compared to those guys. They take it to the next level. They have to be prepared for everything. They've done so much studying. Say will be attained to this as well. There's so much studying and preparation that goes into these things that you guys don't see. The sweat, the tears, the time, it's really a bigger effort than anyone can ever think.
Yeah, I definitely want to emphasize that as well. It's always kind of the question like, okay, is everything the same if you go here on stage? Not really. Everyone has their own account. You have been grinding it for years and years. But that's also what we see backstage at some point. Everyone is so proud of what they accomplished. Everyone really, of course, you don't want to show your runes to your opponents, but everyone kind of wants, like, it's always this kind of rune show of the moment you got like all of these top tier players out there. It's always like, yeah, I got this rune. Let me check yours. Let me check yours. And we've seen that like after parties in Korea. We have seen that here as well. And all of those things that just simply go in there, it's just amazing. But apparently we go back into the match over here, and we see a slight change in the last pick, which is that Julian being locked in.
Here we go, and we're going in with the Ongyuki right now. We had a hand raise. Let's see if we're still carrying on with this match. We're just working things out right now as we're seeing. So there wasn't a triple Revenge Verd in the end. It was a brother Julian that actually came out on the other side of Pinkroid before the timer went down. Here we go then.
We do have that lock-in from that Onyuki, so we see a lot of... This is actually one of the more LD-heavy teams that we see on both sides. No, we have 2 on both sides. Not that... Actually, that's interesting as well. We don't have seen too many like full LD drafts or anything like that. We've seen a lot of drafts where we do see a lot of the elemental units coming back. We have seen Rakuni coming back numerous amount of times, but also just the Vanessa, the Changpong, all of those kind of units. We do see a lot of those units coming back rather than just saying like, okay, I have a whole bunch of LD units, I'm gonna slap those in and make it work.
Yeah.
The people that have a lot of those, like for example Hanslot, he was very like first few matches, no Yan Hong, no Salah, definitely going for what works and not what is supposedly good.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly right. For you guys at home as well, we had a few technical issues. We're sorting those out right now to deal with our players, making sure everything is 100% perfect and ready to rock. So just bear with us for a second here, and thank you for sticking around and embracing what is ultimately a celebration of everything Summoners War related as well here. In the Europe Cup, we talked about different regions as well, and that collaboration of everyone coming together, the top of the top in the World Finals later in Bangkok this year. I mean, let me ask you, we talked, you know, I'm all about reminiscing. I love to reminisce here, lads. I love to think back about the past. I lived my life in the past. But if you think about earlier on this year when we talk about the prelims last, you know, only a month and a half ago or so, we talked about how great it's to see so many newer players who are rising the ranks now. If you think back to the kind of the course of the last, I guess, like couple of months here, which particular players are you kind of? I mean, obviously all of them have got so much about them, but are there any kind of ones that you want to highlight that you think are ones that really are ones to watch out for the future? Do you think will come back just courtesy of what they've achieved over the course of the last couple of months or so?
Personally, for me, I would say one person that's still kind of new-ish to our kind of SWC as a whole, even though he didn't get through the first round against the guy who's in the final now, is Neff. We hadn't heard a lot about Neff. He hadn't really come to any of the events in Europe, but we knew that he was from Germany. And seeing him now at the events and seeing how cool he is with everyone, actually how much he's invested like into the game. He loves this community, he loves the people, he loves everything around it. Having him here, I want to see what he can do in the future years now as well.
So
I would definitely go for the same pick on that one, but it's also very nice to see just all refreshing faces, because a lot of them are just, everyone's just nice. I mentioned that before, everyone is always nice in all of these events.
So nice.
Yeah. And that just really shows, like, the more faces we see on that, always nice people.
Yeah.
And we need 16 people in here instead of 8. It would be a prediction nightmare, it would be taking a lot of time, but I would love to see it.
I would love to see it too, and absolutely, I totally agree. Neff's definitely been one of the kind of chaps who's been very, very kind of like vocal and well, so happy to be here as well.
Yeah.
We're hearing now that we have ourselves our picking bands. We're restarting that right now with our two finalists in Lufia and Pinkroid, and we're diving back into their picking bands now of their first set in their best of 5 here. So back to Sam and Say, and let's see how this one unfolds.
Let's see, they're going to be going in for the bands right now. So we do have the Onyuki at the end that was locked in by Lufia, and we had the Julian as well with the Keaton Dashang. Let's see exactly who he's going to be banning out here, Say.
I would definitely say that the Cheetian Dashang is very dangerous. On the other side, there's a bunch of units with a lot of damage. Or are you going to take more of the Sustainer? Or, yeah, we're going over for damage. And on the other side, we're going to remove that speed lead.
Exactly. Speed lead gone on the side with Vanessa, so it does mean Luffy has the option with the Maw to get the speed lead. Crit rate coming in from Etna. Who will be going first? We know how fast that Bella is, but it's an Etna.
I do think that an Aston would overtake a 33 lead fire unit, and that is what we see over here. But can you do enough damage? Because if you go skill 2 right now, definitely does go for it, but that is where the more cuts in. If it pushes back any attack, but no, Bella's moving next already first. But you can't really go for skill right now. In this case, you have to control the Cheaty and the Shin, but not with this unit. You have to do that with that Cigar.
Exactly, because if you strip in anything right now with the Bella, Hairgang is going to be pushed back up. But there's so many dots in that.
But I don't look at the dots. I look at the HP bar that just depleted. There is near to no HP bar on that unit. That's what I'm looking at. We're getting a lot of despair stuns, but Rakuni says, I have something to say about that. Oh. And we're going to have an additional turn on that Rakuni as well. Not really something we needed at this case, but you might actually just take out the... No, Fna's already dead to dots. There's just too many dots going on. And we can start focusing on that Light Monkey right now.
Exactly, going on that Light Monkey, using the Burst Cannon, destroying HP, and pushing all of that damage through. Obviously now Julian does get a turn. He's got second skill available. Will he go for a stun stay?
Yeah, definitely does go for stuns. Does see that Julian is the most dangerous unit on the field. However, if you put a lot of damage into the Julian, you're still not going to kill it. However, these provokes might be very strong as well. Provoke going on that Monkey. Monkey's only going to go for skill 1 because it was cooldown reset anyways. Monkey has to be able to do something right now. A lot of damage coming in, no damage, and we also have not enough going over there.
Exactly, and as well with Julian doing single target damage, Raccooni's going to be able to help any of them if he can't get it down low enough, right? So Bella taking more turns and dealing so much damage, say.
Yeah, absolutely, so much damage, and we have the more skill 2 coming in. Can you actually kill the... You cannot kill the monkey yet, but we have another push up. The Raccoon-Bella combination is so strong. I would definitely say, yeah, kill that unit, make the safe play. We have the Julian coming back up, but I don't really see them winning, and Pinkroid concedes, and that is the first victory for Lufia with a very strong Bella.
Wow, he has gained massive confidence since this first morning. Wow, managing now to take 1 game against Pinkroid. Pinkroid had it in the last match anyway. Timbo took the first round, but he then sweep from the other side all the way through to 3-1. Will it be something familiar? Because we need to see if it's going to be back to back to back, baby. And here we are, set 2. Pinkroid versus Lufia. Lufia with the 1-0. Last round pre-bans, we had that Tian Lang, we had the Han, so they're going to be back in the game, and they're obviously the favourite units of the actual monsters as well. We're going to be looking right now, we're going into a little bit of a pause while we get that game ready, but in the meantime, having Tian Lang and Han back in the game now, or the frame for this set, big difference.
Yeah, definitely, and someone backstage was also saying, like, okay, why are people pre-banning the Bella over the Han? Well, Bella just showed
Yeah.
you have to pre-ban me too. We need 2 pre-bans on that because it just wiped half a unit off the field. Like the Raccoon is like, oh, you get another turn. You're doing fine, get 1 more. Oh, you killed the unit before, do that again. And if you keep doing that, you're just taking unit after unit after unit. And also just the amount of debuffs that were on there. It's like, oh, you have 4 dots on it too. You're half HP or you're lower than half HP, you get TOA hardened at the same time too.
Exactly, there was also no sustain to follow up on the side of Pinkroid as well, so once that damage is done, it's done. Like, you can't help it anymore.
That's it. That's it. I mean, earlier on, Pinkroid was talking about kind of like competitors that he was, you know, kind of concerned about. Hans a lot, and talked about, who was the other person he was? There was
Timber.
Timber. Lufia, an unsuspecting character. I mean, we didn't assume that Lufia would be in the final. Does that change things? The way that kind of like Pinkroid goes about business when you're like, oh, I wasn't necessarily planning for this matchup.
I would say yes, but I was just in the green room when we were in the break there, and he had Raxas around him, speaking again, what are you going to do? Actually, Tutu was even around him as well, explaining maybe what he could do. So there's a lot of the guys that all come together at certain points to be like, okay, we need to see, can we help someone to get a bit further, or just to give some of the tactics that were happening? It's so far not paying off. I mean, it's only 1 set in at the moment, but let's see if it carries on.
Yeah, absolutely. But on the other end, I'm pretty sure Lufia also brought his friends over here, and there's actually a lot of German players in this whole lineup, and that is definitely what we're seeing over here.
Yeah, it's like Greece, like the T-Birds. It's different packs.
Yeah, exactly.
Different packs here of different different players and their mates getting together here and discussing tactics. But you need that a team around you who's gone for that support. I mean, say when you were kind of competing more regularly, did you have that kind of same kind of network that you were kind of regularly working with?
I have no friends.
You have no friends. Doesn't surprise me.
Hey,
doesn't surprise me. I'm joking with that. I will be your friends. Sam and I are your friends. This was actually a giant audition. This is actually a giant audition, and you've passed. You've got the role. You're our pal.
I was modest enough on that one.
But I mean, we talked about networking. It is a big part. It is a big part of this.
Always. It's very important, and also across different regions, because sometimes it's also very difficult to say, like, okay, you might be my friend, but you're also my competitor. So I actually searched it for other regions. So in other regions, I had people I played against, like Asian players, I played against American players, and that was what worked out for me in prelims, and then not that well in the cups.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to have those people around you, I guess, that you can bounce some ideas off, because, as you said, like with newer players coming through, and you guys at home could be a newer player coming through as well and trying to rise up. And I mean, it's definitely recommended as well. I guess. What would you both recommend in terms of kind of growing your network when it comes to the likes of Summoners War?
Get involved in guild chats, get involved in the public chats, go into the channels that are prevalent and people are actually using. You can always ask questions in there. Most of the time there's someone that's going to give you some sort of advice. For example, if you're a new player, you're looking for secret dungeons, you need some of the monsters, maybe a crow, maybe something like this. Ask in the chat. All of the guys that have been playing long enough, someone who's been playing as long as Say, could easily do open one of these portals, and maybe he gets the right one for you.
Exactly, but also besides that, I want to promote all of the streamers out there.
Yeah.
Watching streamers helps so many people just understanding like mechanics of the game. And you can ask questions, like sure, not all of them are like showing the same content that you might be on at that moment. But watching streamers, like just find one that you enjoy watching and then can learn a thing or two from. And that is definitely a way to also the moment you start chatting over there, people start recognizing your name. Also, a lot of the people that we see that are streaming right now were chatters in streams of other people before.
Yeah.
And therefore, you already kind of have like a streaming community, because within the streaming community, they have seen your name popping up on Twitch, for example, more often, on YouTube more often. And because of that, you kind of have a name already. And that is just a simple way in that we see more people stream, and that just makes this community bigger and brighter and better.
Exactly. Look at Ismo right now.
Yep.
Ismo newly streaming again. We've got him back.
He's back. He's back in the fold. We love to see it. Welcome back, Ismo. Welcome back. For you guys just joined us as well here, we are currently awaiting a slight technical thing on stage. We're kind of waiting for it to get itself back to where it should be ahead of our next set here. It's one set already sorted. Lots more to go in the best of 5, of course, in our final here between Pinkroid and Lufia. I mean, well, we've you know, alluded to World Finals. We talked about Bangkok, what's coming our way. From a regional standpoint as well, obviously this is the Europe Cup and you guys are tuning in for the Europe Cup right now. From a regional standpoint against the other regions, is there a difference between them in terms of the way they approach Summoners War, the way they kind of like the monsters they're using, the way they're going about things? We said that kind of there's regular kind of winners or kind of ones that are considered the best of the best or whatever. What do you think are those differences that separate maybe Europe from different regions?
I would say for Europe specifically, there's a lot of different metas that kind of go through. Overall, we're having a slight shift, I would say, in our top plays now, but most of the time they're quite aggressive play styles. We want to play the match, play it quick, know if we've won, carry on. But we have some of the more newer people coming through, someone like Oliver, the Timbo, not new, but coming higher up again, who are maybe not necessarily playing so aggressively, but playing with such a tactical mind that they've really thought in depth about this. And when you're playing on something like a ladder, when somebody's not ready for it, it's really hard to deal with. And being hard to deal with is something that constantly improves yourself, because you become a bit of a niche, but the niche is harder to even expand and actually crack exactly how to break it down.
Yeah, definitely, but there's also definitely a difference between metas, I would say, that you see from the different regions. And for example, APAC actually has multiple different regions as well, with like Japan, Korea, and we have like Asia others in that one. Even within those, you see very different metas throughout all of them. For example, last year for us, we didn't let anyone play Oliver. Like, it was either pre-banned or post-banned, no one was playing Oliver, whereas in other regions we saw Oliver coming through quite a lot of matches. And the same thing that I could see for the meta in Europe right now, we're really focused on that Cigar, on that Hey Gang. Those two are the dominant units that you see people perform with very well. And if there's not an LD being pre-banned, it's mostly one of those units, and that playstyle is definitely revolving. But if you look at other regions, it's a lot more open. We have seen other regions mainly going for like heavy bruises, like going a lot of these Ongyukis, a lot of Suikis. Suiki actually came from Korea region, if I'm not mistaken, or China. They started picking that up. We started adapting that. And that's also like, in what order did we play SWC? Because if we are the first region to play, we do not really, we make the meta and then others start copying that as well. And Suiki is definitely something we've seen in another region before.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. There you heard it, folks. That is how our regions different, but they're starting to blend now as well, which is great. You pick up new skills, and we've got another pause here, which is infuriating. But things must be perfect before we can continue. They must be perfect. That is the way things must be. We'll keep you guys updated on exactly what's going on. If you haven't done so, make sure to you redeem the coupons we kind of showed on the screen. One of our players wasn't ready. We're going to waiting for that to happen to make sure that's all going to happen. So Luffy, you can see, is 1-0 up right now against Pinkroid. I mean, we've seen a reverse sweep today. We've seen, I think it was Lufia who kind of remained firm and took out Hans a lot there. You know, a 2-0 up and managed to, with a 2-2 come back, 3-2 in the end. I mean, dare I ask again as well here, I mean, Pinkroid, for Pinkroid, players will be looking to see, I mean, we kind of came in this year, the third year in a row, expecting to a degree for him to be kind of in this position. Will that ever change at this point? And Pinkroid just seems to have these units that are just kind of unbeatable at times. Is that a thing that can be changed?
It can be changed, because the more time you put into the game, the more you're grinding, the more that you're in your R5s, you're getting new runes, you're powering them up. The more time you can dedicate it, for sure, you can definitely improve to a point over somebody else. And that's something where you need to put in your own dedication, but also on top of that, playing all of the matches, right? Like making sure you're playing all of your wings, you're learning all of the new units, you're understanding what new people are bringing in. Maybe something is changing within the meta, you're up to date with it and being able to adapt.
Yeah, and that's exactly as well, but that's also the play stuff from player to player, and that's also what I've been talking about on the players backstage. Some of the players, they just like to get muscle memory. I like to play, like, we've seen Hanslot, for example, 2,000 matches in the season. Or we have some other players, like Isma, for example, in prelims. He likes to play like 200-300 matches. He likes to think a lot about his matches, then go in the match and then play a few and then make his victory over there. Whereas some people are like, yo, I play all of my matches, and that's how I get my muscle memory in. That's how I just get like comfortable with the meta. That's how I feel the meta changing over time. That's where you at some point have all of your units played against every individual unit, every individual comp. You know how much damage it does. You know when you have to go for like, oh, with this much HP, do I go for skill 1? Or do I actually have to go to skill 2 to do that little bit extra damage? You know those numbers by then.
Yeah, I mean for the new players this kind of year as well, because there are, I guess, a gazillion players out there who are going to finding Summoners War, starting their journey into how they can become a finalist, perhaps, one day at the Europe Cup stage, one of the other regions as well. You both play regularly. You know the game inside out. What would be for this meta this year? What would be your kind of, I guess, overall kind of advice to the newer players to see exactly how you can progress quickly if you're kind of newer to the game?
You need to play with what you've got. So you need to understand exactly what you have. You need to make sure you know you've got the certain units with the certain skill ups, with the certain rune sets that works for you. Because what works for Say doesn't work for me. I'm not on the same level.
Yes.
But what works for me might not work for him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that one.
Play to your strengths for sure.
Absolutely. I want to add to that one, farm artifacts.
There you go.
Farm artifacts, there you heard it. Right, it looks like we are ready to go, which is fantastic. We are in, once again, chat. Get some hype in there, please. Bring the energy and the noise, just as the crowd has here in Paris. It's back to Pinkroid and Lufia. It's 1-0 to Lufia right now, but we're into set 2 of our final.
Here we go, Vanessa and Keaton Dashang being banned out in the pre-bans, and we've already got a more taken by Lufia, knowing that it is one of Pinkroid's favourite units.
Absolutely, but I was thinking about something along the line of an Oliver, but an Oliver plus a Cigar mostly doesn't work that well. However, a Chiwo plus a Cigar definitely does work. Lufia, are you still going for your... Actually, the holy trinity of the dark units that Lufia owns are all open right now. Would they shine in this draft altogether, or would that be too predictable for Pinkroid to just have an answer to? We see the 2 of the 3 already.
Comfortable picks though, no? And then you know there's another comfortable pick coming on the side of Pinkroid with that Tian Lang. It's like we said, muscle memory. You rely on the units that you've already runed up and you know that are going to be good. And they've got you here so far. And for these guys, they've got them all the way through to the Europe Cup final, which means that obviously there's something that's going very, very correct for them. Let's see here now then. So Tian Lang, who's he going to partner that up with, say?
I'm not entirely sure. Fun fact is I don't think we have seen the Tian Lang in play yet. It's been pre-banned a bunch of times, but it's never been actually picked so far. We have that being picked up with an Abelio. However, Abelio is also somewhat countered by the Tian Lang. Normally it takes 100% attack bar when there is the threshold of that HP going down on your units. Now it's only going to be 50, which could be worse. And we have 3 out of 3 of the units of Lufia right there. Who are you going to pair it with? We're going that secret, and that is one of those playstyles that you can go and like, okay, I'm 1-up, I'm gonna maybe try something new, but it's been picked twice, it has been respect banned twice.
Exactly. Oh, we've got a Rika coming out though. We know how it worked for Hans a lot against Lufia, but right now into that situation, say?
Yeah, we saw Lufia giving that smile, and that smile of Lufia said, I know, I have to burn it. And he does it that time.
Oh, we still don't see a Sigrid yet in the Europe Cup or in SWC. And we're going to be going into this match, most likely with the 2 speed leads of the 24% from the Chiwu and the Maw, as Lufia and Pinkroid get down to business. 1-0 to Lufia in this Europe Cup finals. Taking the first turn is going to be that Chiwu.
Chiwu taking first turn. Ooh, not landing all of the glancing hits that we would like. We also do not have any returning favors on that. Any stuns, we have a stun and we have a proc. Stun on the Youngir doesn't really matter, but definitely the stun on that Bella is going to matter.
Exactly, and now Han does have an opportunity to put a defense break and put some damage, but Abelium will get procced out here if it's enough damage that goes into it.
Not a single armor break, very unfortunate, and that's going to be the pushback and the double provokes as well.
And here we have Abelio, has all skills available, likely going to use second skill, take out that Bella, and realistically right now, as long as he can control all of the rest, he's going to do fine.
Yeah, I definitely think that Pinkroid is definitely doing very fine in this matchup. Onyuki is going to shake off that stun, still has that provoke, still has that glancing hit on himself, but Abelio also still has that third skill, so there's going to be healing.
Oh, here we go. Now we've got Abelio coming up with the healing, and it's going to give the opportunity now. Oh, we've got the provoke on the Maw as well. He just needs to get rid of this Onyuki. Yeah, the Onyuki, but the Onyuki is being slept, also being woken up because it's not too much needed to have it sleeping. In this case, if you go for skill 1, armor break, skill 2, I still don't think you would do enough damage, but that is a good opportunity that he might have over here. He doesn't get it, so he does allow skill 2. Is it going to be enough damage? 7.3k hits into that Onyuki. Yeah, definitely not enough damage, but this Tian Lang is definitely going to do a lot of damage. Tian Lang does do a lot of damage on that skill 1, and that will take that unit out.
And this is a 1 against 4 that is not going to go on, and with the victory for Pinkroid.
Wow, so he's starting the reverse sweep again like he did against Timber. Can he keep that momentum going through into the set 3? Hopefully we get straight into the set 3, in all honesty, because I want to see these guys fight it all the way through. Lufia, Pinkroid, 1-1. Are we going to have the same pre-bans again? Do you think there's going to be a Han and a Tian Lang?
I would definitely say that Tian Lang. The Tian Lang enables so much of Pinkroid's comp that it makes it very difficult for Lufia to draft into. He doesn't really have a strong Tian Lang answer. And once again, we have the pre-ban on that Han from the side of Pinkroid.
There we go. So Pinkroid, do you think he's going to look to already take away that more, just because it seems like a contested unit whenever it's out?
It's somewhat of a contested unit, but he could also take out that Cigar. We definitely see that on both cases. But we also see Vanessa, and I would say Vanessa is once again more of a steal than a very comfortable pick of Pinkroid.
Okay, here we go then. So Lufia's got the answers back to him. He's going to take a more. Will he take again one of his... Takes the Cigar.
And taking that more and the Cigar, and definitely going to be followed up by probably that Bella. Pinkroid, how are you going to answer into the units that you see on the field right now? Once again with that Athena. Hey gang. That's what we have seen before, and that has been working before, but didn't work in the first round, though.
Exactly. Does it mean now we're also going to be seeing that Bella with all of the damage that's been coming out from Lufia the whole of the game, the whole of the Europe Cup, in all honesty, and partnering it up with something like the Young Yuki? Or is it worth... I still want to see a Sigrid at some point, say. I know we probably won't in this match, but surely we will at some point.
Well, there we have a speed lead, and there we have that Bella. Definitely comfortable picks from Lufia and cycling back to those units. Pinkroid, are you going to switch it up? Last time it was the Light Monkey and the Julian, if I'm not mistaken, in there. Let's see if it goes for different units right now. Goes for Carnal, shows a lot more tankiness. Goes for Sonya. Sonya, so far, we have seen one going through. Did play pretty well onto killing something, but also it's mostly a 1-for-1 trade. Like, it kills something off the field, but then also leaves the battlefield itself pretty fast. And going for a switch of a Tableau. Definitely a unit we haven't seen yet here today, or even in all of the prelims, but always an interesting unit, especially in combination with that Athena being very fast, AoE armor breaks, and then maybe getting some extra turns, or that Sonya doing a similar thing.
Exactly. The moment that you can start cycling the turns with the Tableau, he's got the skill 3, allowing your team to have a full new move again. Leo, that is an answer.
Mind games. Yeah, it's a must ban.
There we go. It was a must ban, and Sonya's been banned out as well. So we've got the speed leads going in 33-33. Etna likely to take the first turn here as we're getting in to set 3. Pinkroid versus Lufia. It is 1-1.
Yeah. We have this turn going right away to the Bella. Bella was moving after everything right there. We're getting the stun, and these stuns were massive. However, we have the reset over here, and that reset will make it that Athena will move once again. Athena can go into the Bella and most likely will stun it.
Manages to stun it, and now there's Vanessa. Can she go defense break? Lands a defense break. Will we get any stuns there?
Oh, we got 2 very strong stuns over there, and the Athena cannot be controlled right now. The Oliver can't do too much into it. It can go for absorbs, cool time increases, but not exactly on the units you would like to play a stun. And we have that Bella leaving the battlefield, and that is very much an uphill battle for Lufia right now. And you can see on his face that he knows that he's in a not too comfortable position.
Yeah, he's in a world of trouble right now. We know Oliver is Despair, so maybe we're going to get some Despair units, unless he reruined it in between. But I doubt it. He's probably going to stick with the Despair.
I think that is still the Despair one, but this is definitely the answer of Pinkroid. Pinkroid likes to take that first turn, but he also likes to take the second first turn with that Tableau, and that definitely worked out over here.
I like that. The second first turn. That is a new statement that you have just built, and I love it. Because Oliver now, third skill available. He's going to look to try and put in a cool time. Are you going to try and absorb as well from a Vanessa? No, going for the Etna. Oh, it's stun.
It did stun, but the big issue is you have 2 wind units that don't show too much damage. There's no sustain, and I think Lufia's definitely taking his time right now to just think like, okay, if he drafts a similar comp as this, like next match you have to think about the Tian Lang. But if he comes back to this match again, what could he have drafted differently? And that is also showing the strength of Pinkroid. He randomly finds, or not even randomly, he finds that Tableau somewhere in the back of his box, just uses that, and that worked out so incredibly well here in this match.
Exactly. We've got Hagan coming out, gets the stun on the Scar, but we're going to have an additional turn. Can he get a defense break and a provoke now? Yes, he lands both.
He lands both, but if we look at the HP bars, we see everything that is still doing those S1s. It's enough damage to at some point take out that Cigar and that Oliver. And the units on the side of Pinkroid still look very lively.
Exactly. You look at Vanessa, a fire unit against 2 wind units with so much health. She's going to be taking a turn next unless Lufia decides to go onto the Vanessa with the skill 2. Decides against it, but there's going to be a defense break coming out. Not enough to kill, but will be when it cycles back round.
Yeah, and that is definitely the kill over there, and that also makes it the victory for Pinkroid into a 2-1.
Wow, 2-1. Is it going to be the same as what he just did against Timbo? He's just winning 2-1 against Lufia right now, but it's all to play for as we get into this potential decisive match. This could be the back-to-back-to-back champion if this goes through right now, say. And there's going to be a Tian Lang and a Han on the field.
Yeah, we have the Tian Lang on the field, and that's definitely the strong unit of Pinkroid, that even if he doesn't draft it, you have to keep it in mind. Like, okay, everything that I draft right now might be countered by the Tian Lang. And that just makes drafting so much more difficult if you know, like, your enemy has these and these and these units. And even if the draft looks, like, very weird, you know that these players prepared against it, like, okay, I cannot draft this right now because it would get counted, so I have to draft something else. And from a viewer point of view, or even from the caster's point of view, it might feel weird at some point, but what these guys have in mind, it's like 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more preparation than we did, and that we see on this point.
Oh, that
No,
was a
you
troll.
don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. I wouldn't even mind if he did, but no, he's not going to. But I love that. You can also see that the stress level of Lufia lowered so much. Like, at first match, he walked in, he was like, oh no, I don't. And now he's just making the joke of like, okay, I'll just drop on it there. No, wait, I don't.
Exactly. Instead, he goes for the Mort. And now we've got the Chiwu and the Sagar on the side of Pinkroid as well. Maybe now we can pull the Antares, though. Come on, Lufia. We can do it now, though, right? Or I still want to see the Sigrid. Let's get some Han in there.
Yeah, definitely. But that draft didn't work out last time. If he goes all of the 4 dark units right now, Pinkroid definitely has the answer to it. So he kind of likes to switch us up, going in that Chungpong.
Exactly, Chungpong pairing it up with the Yongyuki. We know the Yongyuki has been doing a lot of damage, especially when it can set itself up on a defense break into the second skill, because it's just doing so much damage. And in terms of controlling it, the moment you stun it, it's fine. He'll ignore that. I'll deal with it later, because I'm still going to take a turn anyway. We've got an Eshir on the side of Pinkroid, though, say.
Yeah, Asher, a lot of people would say like, oh, just lock in your Tian Lang, you have it available right now. But Tian Lang is not that great into Chungpong, so I definitely do like that Pinkroid is signaling different units. The only thing that Pinkroid doesn't have all too much right now is a lot of damage. Sure, you have that armor break of the Cigar skill too, but it's just 2 turns. You have the damage on the Asher, you have some damage on the Chiwu, but it's not like the insane amount of damage that the Bella likes to put out. If Lufia goes to somewhat of sustaining units right now that can deal with the damage, can deal with the cycling, and then still sustain enough to kill the units on the side of Pinkroid, it might be a thing. But Asher is also pacing a lot of speed with that speed buff.
There we go. We see a Veramos along with the Handa there. I think that's just mainly to try and combat the Shizuka. The signaling of Shizuka staying in?
I am not really sure. The Veramos is mostly placed against things with heavy debuffs that don't really have chances of stunning or anything. In this case, there's not too many debuffs, I would say. Sonya, once again, probably a respect ban over there. But the Veramos feels in like a weird spot, however, is also respect banned.
There we go. So it was a respect ban, which means that we've got the speed leads of the Mort and the Chiwu. This is potentially the decisive final set between Pinkroid and Lufia here at the Europe Cup in the finals. Taking that first turn is going to be Eshe. Can Pinkroid control this now and take it through all the way?
Very depending on glancing across the board. Very important for Pinkroid over there. And he did get 1 stun, but not a stun they'd like to see. Do we get AoE provoke? AoE provokes, missing on the Mort, but also not the most interesting one, because that is not really one that you care about all too much. And we see a lot of speed buffs going around on the side of Pinkroid.
Yeah, you can see all of the debuffs managing to land on the whole side of Lufia. The Yongyuki's not going to, well, he's basically going to ignore most of it, apart from the provoke, but can't get anything additional turn out of it. This is looking very dire for Lufia.
Yeah, definitely. Lufia needed that sustaining there to keep those units alive, even though he didn't take all too many turns. And that Rakuni could do, but in this case, a Han by itself can't do.
Exactly, and we've got Chungpong going in now. There's glancing on it, and there's so much cool time reset that came from that Cigar, meaning he can't use the turns. More hitting as well. I can't see a win from Lufia here.
No, it would be very difficult to get a win over here. We're also getting a sleep. That's an unwanted sleep. We're going into AoE hits anyways, so probably that sleep doesn't matter all too much. And we get AoE provokes into an additional turn, armor break, and we do not have that Massacre up yet, but we will have pretty soon with the speed buff.
Wow, here we see it. This is why he is here. Back to back to back champion, Pinkroid!
Oh my goodness! He's only gone and done it! Pinkroid is your Summoners War World Arena 2023 Championship Europe Cup winner again! Well, I say again, 2023 is the first time this year, but 3 years on the trot here. Absolutely incredible, seems to say it. He's done it. What an unbelievable feat this is. Phenomenal work.
Yeah, absolutely, and he can't even believe it himself. You can see it from the reaction. We're going into the interview, and this is impressive. This is